What's up, guys? Captain Gamester. Welcome back to the Super Fun Force, where we got tons of cool video games, toys, anime, comics, you name it, we got it. Today we're gonna take a look at Skeletor and his evil Panthor, the Purple Panther. All right, I have the original version of the plastic. They do make a special limited edition that is flocked, which means it has, like, you know, the kind of furry, velvety, you know, texture that some toys have had before. That's a great one to have. It obviously is, you know, reminiscent of the vintage original release. It's special, you know, to have, again, that flocked texture. But again, over time, it could kind of like, you know, break apart and kind of shed like a real animal. But I really like this, you know, cartoon animated look. Really happy with this one. And he's great for Skeletor, as you can see here. He mounts perfectly. And I got him in, you know, his pose here with his hand of power, and he got his staff. I currently don't have his power sword because it's on He-Man. But I mean, you guys can easily, you know, see what his purple half looks like. And, you know, to me, I like him more as a character that's going to utilize his magic. Although we see him fight, and although he's super ripped, this guy is definitely more of like a dark magician, dark sorcerer. And in the story of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, he starts out as Skeletor, and he basically gets his face melted, and that's why he has this skeleton reveal now. So his mission and his goal is obviously to be all-powerful and to control the planet and the kingdom of Eternia. So to do that, he wants to take control of Castle Grayskull because it holds power, technology, and all kinds of secrets, you know, magic and whatnot, which, of course, if he can harness, he would destroy He-Man and obviously enslave everybody. So he's a bad baddie, and I'm cool with that. You know, again, we always need the, you know, typical, like, just pure evil villains who are driven by something like, you know, greed or power or domination. We'll always need those kind of characters, you know, to contrast and compare against good. You know, it's never a bad thing to have, like, extreme good and character, you know, good and bad characters. So I'm totally down with that. That's what makes He-Man super fun. Again, it's fantasy with futuristic technology, sci-fi, sword and sorcery, Conan. So if you're not watching the original series, I suggest always start with that. Start with a positive kind of 80s retro style about, you know, teaching a good lesson, and it's, you know, it's kind of cartoony, but it's, you know, and whimsical, but it just really encapsulates that sense of like wonder as a kid. And just even now watching it in retrospect, you know, it may not be like super dark or super serious or crazy action packed, but the art style is still wonderful for its time. As always, I will never stop proclaiming my enjoyment of the original He-Man series and the mini comics. So here we go, guys. Let's take a quick look at this Skeletor combo, and yeah.
And here he is on Panthor, none other than the master of mayhem, mischief, and evil, Skeletor. And, you know, he is indeed an extreme, stereotypical villain, almost a caricature at this point. But that's what Masters of the Universe needs, for sure. He needs someone to represent that, like, vile villainy, that selfishness, you know, mistreating his, you know, henchmen, taking advantage of people, and seeing those negative qualities being defeated by a hero such as He-Man, who has the positive attributes. And yeah, as you can see, he does obviously remove from Panthor, but I like keeping him on there. This is a great sculpt. You know, Panthor doesn't get too much backstory in the mini comics or the Funimation, but he's definitely that parallel, you know, of Battle Cat, you know, because Skeletor has to, you know, match He-Man in some way, shape, or form. And again, it's a great sculpt, the armor and everything like that. Just basically a recolor of Battle Cat, but it's great, you know. And Skeletor himself is, in fact, in this way, shape, or form, and this sculpt more resembles his vintage line, but it's great. You know, he has that neon green skeleton, you know, that's like burned away from the acid. And, you know, this is quintessential. If you're a He-Man MOTU fan, you got to get this. You know, whether you're an adult collector, whether you're a kid, you know, for families coming into this line, if you want fantasy and sci-fi, this is the villain to get. You know, it's obviously something that you see a lot. You see skeleton faces all over different kinds of media because it is indeed, you know, reminds us of, you know, like mortality, wickedness. And in this case, you know, like the backfiring plan, like Skeletor's wicked plan to try to kill King Randor, you know, gets his face melted off basically. And the cool thing is later on, there's some a little bit of a retcon, or it kind of goes against the fact that, like, in later mini comics by Mattel, they kind of hint that Skeletor could be in fact King Randor's long lost brother, which would in fact make him He-Man's uncle. Now that'd be pretty crazy, right? So whether or not you accept that into the legend or the mythos, it's still an interesting concept to consider. So yeah, guys, if you want to complete your collection and have those heroic battles, this is super fun. Get Skeletor to go after He-Man time and time again. And as you can see, the sculpt looks great. Everything about it is just fantastic. All right, like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys again soon.